Cinema, and more importantly, Indian cinema. What's happening to the industry? How is our films impacting us? Because more and more India, and especially Bollywood, and I hate to use that term, is getting more recognition across the world. It's become a true soft power of India. What impact does our cinema have on the world? What are the commercials? And does it have an impact on us as human beings? Do filmmakers have a moral responsibility towards the cinema that they're making? Let's talk. Hello, 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 and this is Tagore, and welcome to my podcast, A Pint of Imbecile Wisdom. Everyday people with everyday stories and hoping great inspirations for the rest of us. So, as you all know, I have a theme this year for the first time. It looks like I've grown up. I'm talking about humanity and leadership, two different sides of the same coin, in my opinion. But today in the mold, I'm throwing in something that I'm most passionate about, as all of you know, and that's cinema. And I want to touch upon cinema as a topic on its own, cinema from India as another topic on its own, and then I want to wrap it up by saying, how does cinema impact humanity, and thus is there an element of leadership in that? So today with me I have a guest. He's a young filmmaker. He's made a very thought-provoking film, and it's just been released, I think, a month ago, and it's going to be on OTT sometime soon, and I don't know the details of that yet for various reasons, but I want to talk to a thinking person's director today. So welcome to the podcast, Pranay. Hi.
Hello. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Okay, Pranay. So you've just done your debut film, Akeli, which basically translates to Alones. Yeah. And I found it to be a very obscure subject for a first time, especially for a first time mainstream filmmaker in India. The film centers around an Indian girl who is based in Iraq somewhere, and she goes there to find a job, and she's working, and then she gets abducted by the ISIS, right? And the story is an emotional story which evolves around how she escaped from the ISIS clutches, and with the help of the Indian government, found her way back home, right? It's not a mainstream subject, in my opinion. It's not something that our mainstream film producers and our mainstream film actors, sorry to say that, would even be interested in doing, because it doesn't have that mass appeal. But it's a very sensitive story, and I want to know what triggered that off. But before we do that, tell my audience a little bit about yourself, please.
So I have been in the industry from the past 14, 15 years now. I have assisted on a lot of films like Queen, Hasi To Fasi, Mausam, Matru Ki Bijli Ka Mandola, and for a certain bit amount of time on My Name Is Khan. Then a lot of other films and web series I have been associated with. So I have been as a associate / first AD on the films and on the projects, on web series and all. And this subject was with me for a very long time, because during one of my trips to the Middle East, I happened to meet this woman. I wouldn't reveal her identity, because that was the only condition that I promised. She had said, you can make a movie on my story, but you just don't have to reveal my details. So that's why I can't. But yeah, so I met this woman from the Middle East, and she told me how she was abducted by the ISIS, and how she came to her country, how she kind of escaped from their captivity, and she came back to her country, and what are the kind of problems and challenges that she faced. So that really intrigued me a lot to say something like that, because as you said, this kind of film has never been made before, like the escape story, or like a survival drama. there is Argo, there is what do you say, Castaway. There are other few things, but that's only the King of Scotland. But that's only in the Hollywood that they have made. In India, I feel there in the Hindi film industry, I think there is not like a good survival drama that was made. So the first cause was the story, the subject that really intrigued me, and the second cause was the novelty of the subject that that has not been seen and made before. So that really intrigued me to work on this subject. And obviously, if I have to make an Indian film, I cannot show the middle a woman, because she was not an Indian. The woman who I met wasn't Indian. So obviously, I can't show a Middle East woman. It wouldn't be an Indian film. So I had to Indianize a lot of things in it. I had to do a little bit of structuring, change the structure a little bit. But the story, I would say, I have kept it as real as possible. The world, the kind of tortures they give, the kind of places they lived in, that kind of I kind of maintain and try to keep it as real as possible. So yeah, that's how the journey started.
Okay. Sorry, excuse me. So, very interesting. I think when I first heard about what you had done, I think it took a lot of guts to venture out and do this film, which was, sorry to say, not mainstream, so to speak, not an entertainer, so to speak, as the Indian, folks are sort of accustomed to.
True.
So,
True.
What made you sort of not commercialize this, in the sense that not made it a mainstream film?
So I didn't consciously make that decision of not making a commercial film. And to be honest, if you see what is commercial, like there's the only difference between commercial and an art film is, I don't know, maybe subject. If you keep the subject the same and if you add the star cast, then it becomes, like, for example, my film. Okay, if I had a bigger star cast, like somebody like Anushka Sharma or Deepika Padukone, it would be counted as a commercial film. Although Nusrat is commercial, but the subject is being treated very realistic. So maybe that's why you're saying that it might not be commercial, but it is. To be honest, when you see the film, we have tried, because eventually at the end of the day, the producers have to make money, right? They want the audience to come in, and then that's how they'll make money. So no matter whatever the subject is, I mean, it might sound a little offbeat to you, but it's not really. I've tried to keep it as commercial as possible. With there's songs in it, there's action in it, there's a hero in it. The hero is like a commercial automatically. But to be honest, I didn't make a conscious decision that this is what I want to make, or this is I want to make a commercial or a non-commercial. So that's not the conscious decision. It's just that the story came across, things kind of fell into place. The actors said yes to it. The producers came on board, and I immediately got the dates. And the Uzbek government was supporting, like, you come to our country and shoot. So everything just fell into place at the right time, and we just started with it. If it was not this film, it would have been some other film. I would have gone ahead with that. But it's just things fell into place with this film, so I started this.
And look, I do not mean a commercial. I meant a commercial entertainer, like how most other films, and that's what I meant by that. So you ventured onto this film, and I'm really looking forward to seeing it on a major OTT platform. So I think lots of people will be able to see it and understand that there is a certain that. And I don't agree with the term art cinema, because I don't think there's art cinema, because I think cinema is cinema, by the way. You're right.
Absolutely.
It's only in India that we named non-commercial entertainers as art cinema, but it's not a right term. So this actually falls into that genre, just for discussion's sake, where it's meaningful cinema. Right.
True.
It's meaningful.
True.
It's not a lot of meaningful cinema that I see coming out of India. Okay, I mean, every single day when you look at social media and you look at the PR engines, they're promoting a major star, they're promoting a major director, they're promoting a major production house, right? With that in mind, Pranay, do you think the world's going to take us seriously when it comes to our cinema?
Uh, the world has already started taking us seriously, to be honest. See, like if they wouldn't have been A.R. Rahman like representing us on the global platform.
Exactly.
They wouldn't have like uh, uh, they wouldn't make what do you say, what is that film with Dev Patel making Made in India, which won the Oscars, Danny Boyles. He wouldn't come
The
to India.
Slumdog Millionaire.
Slumdog Millionaire. Your Christopher Nolan wouldn't come to India for to shoot his films. So it's not like we are not recognized on the global platform. We are recognized on the global platform, and we are also being taken seriously. It's just that what I feel is the kind of cinema made in the Hollywood. Now, see, again, having said that, not every film in Hollywood is a hit or is a commercial film. You know, there are a lot of non-commercial films that also made their in Hollywood. Like, I have seen a couple of them. I mean, immediately right now I can't don't recollect the name because I'm very bad with names. But anyway, so there are a lot of films made there also. It's just that, see, what I feel is, we need to make a little more. What do you say? Films which stands on the universal diaspora. We are catering films which are making films which are catering only to the Indian audience, like all the commercial films that are mainly catering Indian audiences in India and abroad, Indians staying in abroad. So I feel people have started recognizing us, but I feel there has to be more meaningful cinema, and I really wish and hope and pray that the bigger star cast, like big actors like Shah Rukh Khan and Salman Khan and all the other big actors that we have, they should also support the content oriented cinema, because see, what mostly the thought process is, this is a content orient, I mean, this is a script, like what do you say, what do you call, the word is, this is more of the content oriented film which doesn't have too much of masala in it, which is true. Most of the times content oriented cinema don't have like a song, like a dance, like actions, which is or probably catering to a star. It doesn't really, sometimes it doesn't have that, but you can easily incorporate that, and the moment you incorporate that, it becomes like a commercial cinema, and probably the story gets lost somewhere else. So I feel it is if the day we concentrate more on the script and the actors back it like the way it is and the way it should be made, and not making it like star, I think that's the time the films will reach to the global audience, because they know Shah Rukh Khan. People outside know Shah Rukh Khan. They watch Shah Rukh Khan films. But maybe sometimes they might get disappointed by, the story didn't work or something else didn't work. Maybe. I'm not saying it doesn't. It happens. I'm just saying maybe. But I think we need to make more content-driven film. Like Lagan was a very good example of content, good direction, star cast, good publicity. It made it to the Oscars. You know what I'm saying? So we need to focus more on content-driven films, and stars, especially what I mean by the saleable stars should back it as the way it is.
Now, on the other side of the story, we as Indians, we love our song, our dance, our colors, the loudness in our cinema, and we love our stars. Okay, so it's not really an actor's paradise, it's more of a stars ecosystem, right? But there's a reason for that, is because going back decades and whatever, a lot of Indians, the masses, wanted to leave their sort of their life that they had and just escape from it for be it 3 hours and go into a world where there was all the wonderful costumes, good looking people, and the story and the acting came the last on their list. They just wanted to escape into a world that would take them from their everyday struggles, their everyday lives. So, and that has stayed with us, even though we've progressed so much as a nation. That has stayed with us. It's now hardwired in our DNA. You know what I mean? So there will always be a place for song and dance and whatever. And I think it's done great because now globally, okay, people have noticed that when you talk about, and I hate to use this term, Bollywood, they talk about song and dance and good-looking people and great costumes. So I think our cinema has just become that. And that's absolutely great because, as I said to you, I think yesterday, the economics of it is amazing. If you look at some of the releases just this year, they've touched the 1,000 crore, 1,000 million Indian rupees benchmarks. And that's great for the industry. It's great for the people working in the industry, right from the stars to the directors to the technicians on a set. But not many people who are non-Hindi speaking or non-Tamil speaking, for example, are going to go out and watch the film and saying, hey, I watched a great film from it. That's not going to happen yet. What do we need to do, Pranay? Or do we need to do it at all to reach that sort of a level of cinema?
No, we should do that. If that's on my only thing is, if Hollywood, like English movies, see, again, English is it's a world language. Everybody in the world speaks English. Hindi is not understood by every Hindi is not been understood by every person in the world. You could say probably 40-30%. There are worldwide. There are if you say in the US or China or Canada, they're only Indians who watch the films, or maybe few people in China. What I've got to know is Amir Khan is very popular in China. How did he become? Yeah. So now how did he become? So what I got to know is Chinese government has started promoting Indian films, Amir Khan's films. So they watch, and they have obviously dubbed in Chinese, Mandarin language and all of that. So they dub in those languages and they release the films. They promote the film and they release the film. So now I feel it also depends on the government of the country. See, English movies automatically, they don't need too much of a thing because obviously the government need to support a bit. But, English movies are automatically understood by people, and everybody in the world understands English. At least 90% of the people in the world understand English. So similarly for Hindi, I feel either people need to learn Hindi or the government needs to support, like Chinese government supports. So similarly, the other Russians or the other countries where we don't have, the Indian films don't have that kind of market. The government need to support the releases and how the film should be released they may be dubbed in their languages, promote it very well in that country, and then release it. That's how we'll grow the market. That's how the Indian market will grow, and that's how I feel the people will know about the movies and everything else. But having said that, it's not that bad right now. I mean, people know about Bollywood, people know about the Bollywood stars, but no, not all of them. As you say, not all of them. For example, Kartik Aaryan film or Rajkumar Rao's film wouldn't release in China, Russia, and Pakistan. Not Pakistan, but Iran and Iraq and all of that, because people don't know them. They would not even go to watch them. But this is where the government plays a major role, where they support the producers, they support the industry, where you dub the film. So we will promote it, we will take care of the promotion, and we will release your film. Whatever the profit sharing could be decided later. But this is the process that they could start, or probably we could initiate as Bollywood industry to their government, saying we will dub the film, then we will release in your country. And that's how I think we can make more money. They can make more money. We can add to the economy. They can add to the economy. Stuff like that. So this is one process that I feel can really, really work for as like a Bollywood industry. It could grow. But having said that, what majorly matters is the content. Content is the king. If that doesn't work, nothing works.
Yeah, but see, it's very interesting what you just said. I mean, the governments can get involved and whatever, yes. Right? And if you look at things like, and I'm going to get killed for this, but if you look at China, for example, we have a cultural similarities, all right, be it with China, be it with Russia or whatever, all right, to name a few. So there is a cultural similarities. There's the same rationale to want to go and escape from our life and watch something which is a fantasy. I understand all of that. But if it talking about taking our cinema to, say, Iran, okay, or go a little further into Europe, right? Our content has to be relatable. It has
No,
to.
but what I think is American, for example, American culture is not nowhere close to Iran culture. See, the content, I feel the content will work either if it is similar to them or it is way apart from them, just out of curiosity or what is new about them. The curiosity of what there's something new and that I have not seen before and it really fascinates me. I would want to watch it. You know, of course. Again, I'm giving an example. American culture is way different from Iran and Iraq and Middle East and Afghanistan and stuff like that. But they shoot their movies in those places, and they release the movies in those places. So I feel if that can work, our movies can also work. It is just a matter of curiosity. Just build a curiosity within those people. Just try to build a curiosity, and they will go for sure.
And also, I mean, I think, watched quite a few Iranian films, and I've now begun watching Korean films, right? And that's with subtitles, right? Yeah. So I don't know how much the government involvement has been in bringing these films, but, there is some sort of interest, right? And there is some sort of a knowledge at the back of my mind saying, if I watch an Iranian film, if I watch a Korean film, I know I'm not wasting my time. You know what I mean? It might not be entertaining, but it's going to be great storytelling. It's going to be great cinema. It's going to be, like not stars, but it's going to be actors in it and whatever. And again, Pranay, not to say that what we're doing is wrong, but on the flip side of the coin, will we be able to achieve that? And I think we'll be able to, but how long do you think it's going to take us to do that? Where we're going to move away from the star system only on a global platform, like a Rajkumar Hirani film you said. Is that going to be of interest to people?
So Rajkumar Hirani films are also star-driven films. None of his films don't have stars. See, that's what I'm saying. The mindset of our films is, if you have a good script and a good actor is backing it, it will get more exposure. That is the mindset that was the mindset that we've created, or we have fed people like that. Whether it's a bad film or a good film, if there are stars in it, people will go watch it once, and that's where the producer recovers the money. As we spoke last time, I said a good script, let's say there's a newcomer, or let's say there's a smaller star involved in it, but promoted like a big film, like how Shah Rukh Khan films are promoted. People will watch. It is always about the reach of the film, how much and till where we can reach with the film. Most of the times what happens in the industry is we have a script, big or small doesn't matter, good or bad doesn't matter. I'm talking about a script. If you have a smaller actor playing in it, the whole mathematics of the film becomes smaller. It's made in smaller budget, it's promoted in a smaller budget, it is released in less number of theaters. Only if the film picks up with the word of mouth or something, some miracle happens, and if the film picks up with time, only then they increase the number of screens in the theater. So my point is, it's okay if you make but then it's not going to change in one day. It is a process which people will have to follow. You like the way you promote Shah Rukh Khan, Salman Khan, Hrithik Roshan films, you promote that smaller films also. Keep a certain good amount of budget in the film and only for promotion, and just promote the film. Let people know about it. You have to build curiosity for people to come into the theaters and watch the film. If that doesn't happen, obviously you will never be able to make a good film with a good content. Then you will have to always, there are only 5-7 stars in the country, and you have to always depend on those 7 stars to give you the dates and make the film. Whether they give you now or they give you after 5 years or whatever time they give you, and also you have to wait for them to like the script, them to say yes to the film, then the monies get involved, then the budget has to be fixed, then the dates which will happen whenever the star is free, it happens, because you are not the only one who's approaching the star. There are 10 other people who are approaching it. So if that person is doing all the 10 films, probably if you are on number 10, then you will be done after 10 years. You know what I'm saying? 10 years or 5 years or 6 years. So that's a little kind of a drawback, I feel. But If the independent producers have to grow, if the new producers want to make their way in the industry, make their place in the industry, I think promotion is firstly the content. The script has to be good. The actor has to be good. I don't mean a star. The actor has to be good. And the promotion really, really plays a big role during the release of the film. If it is big enough, good enough, I think people will like it. I think it's just a matter of getting the people to the theaters. However, whichever way, it's just a matter of getting them to the theaters.
Okay, so if you're saying that it's all the script's got to be good enough, there's got to be a proper actor, not a star in it. That's good enough, and it's a new producer coming on board, thinking different. How much room is there for this producer and this film in the industry, realistically?
So it's a process. If you ask me, somebody starts now, it will take at least 5 to 7 years for this trend to grow and become big. It will. Now, in anything that when they start, they don't start making money. Everything takes time. Rome wasn't built in a day, so everything takes time to build. So right now, obviously, people will face losses because we have created the mindset of people in a way where only star-driven films will work. A few films here and there, if kind of so-called propaganda, if they call it a propaganda films, if they come into the picture, then probably people would go and watch it. But otherwise, there is room for these kind of producers also. It's just that it will take time. It will not happen in a day.
But I have hope that India will also, besides keeping its star system and its commercial entertainers, I think there will be more and more cinema coming from filmmakers like yourself, who are going to be able to have a voice on a global platform. Yeah.
Sure.
So the next thing I was going to ask you is, and I'm connecting this to the theme of my podcast. What's your personal opinion, right, with your experience so far in the industry, on the leadership of the industry? What do you think of it? How do you think there is now more and more a corporate structure in place, or is it still your independent filmmakers who are running the show based on their likes and dislikes?
See, corporate structure is there, but having said that, it's not that overpowering right now. It used to be at 10 years ago when a lot of corporate people were coming in. But I feel right now there are a lot of independent producers who also have a scope. But then again, we get stuck to the star system. We get stuck to the saleability system, like saleable star system. It's been overpowered by that right now. Right now, it's a good market. It's a good market for because the OTT platforms have come into are there. You can also release your films, but you need a strong player to release your film. The independent producers are quite capable of making a good film. Like I'm just saying, like my producers like Akeli, they are quite capable of making a good film. They have a good actor, they have a good script, they will make a film. They have that much of bandwidth. But to release, you need there are independent distributors, there are corporate distributors. So both of them are there. But I feel whoever, like even the distributor, but the whole game is about the distribution. If the distribution is done well, the publicity is done well, I think both are surviving right now. Even the individual distributors are surviving very well, like Panorama and others, and even corporate like Reliance and all of that, they are also surviving very well. So we have place for both the distributors and both the kind of producers. We have place for that because there's so much content coming out. There are so many platforms to showcase your talent. Like there's Netflix, there's Amazon, there's Jio, there's Hotstar, there's there's so many other platforms. So yeah, it is a good time to make films right now because there's a lot of platforms, and there are buyers and there are viewers to all kind of cinema right now. So it's a very, very good time, and I think you should. So your question was basically, is it about the corporate? Like you're saying the corporate or the?
I wanted to know about the leadership style in the industry, you know?
No, it's both. It's both. It's both. There's nobody overpowering anyone right now. I think both are playing an equal game. Like, like for what do you consider? Is PVR corporate or PVR is a single producer, a single distributor? What do you think of?
At the end of the day, PVR is a corporation, right? Whether it's run by one person or a family, at the end of the day, it's got a corporate structure to it. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah, but I feel it's both ways. Yeah, I mean, there's if your film is good, if your content is good. Like my film was picked up by PVR and Reliance and some of the individual distributors only by after watching the film. So they thought it has a lot of potential, and that's why they picked up the film. So I feel it's both ways. Both are surviving, and it's a very, very good time for people to make films right now. Okay. It's a good time.
So, you know, as I was telling you the other day, I think Bollywood especially is a very powerful soft power on a global platform, right? And it's just very simple things like, if you remember in the heydays, the bad guy was always rich. You know what I mean? The bad guy was always rich. So there's that immediate imprint at the back of us says rich people are bad, for example. You know, just generalizing it. What impact do you think our cinema has on us as a human race in India?
So it doesn't happen like that anymore. The mindsets have changed because there's so much exposure right now. Earlier, I think when you're talking about the things that people used to get really, there was no internet easily available. There were no smartphones. There was no Instagram. There was no Facebook. So people used to believe what they see. Now the audience, even a person sitting in like the smallest of town in India, he knows everything that is happening is fake. Now what they watch it is for entertainment. So they watch right now. They only watch it for entertainment person. They know who's rich, who's good, who's bad. They all know because social media is so all over the place, and every person in the smallest of town has internet and social media. So that I don't think that works. Sorry, you're saying something.
No, okay. No, I said I consider you, Pranay, as being a sensitive, intelligent filmmaker, right?
Thank you.
No, I mean it. What impact do you think our cinema has on humanity on the whole? Are we giving up hope of tolerance, you know, of respect, or are we showcasing something that's dark and disturbing just because we know it's going to work with the audience, right? Are we having a social responsibility is my question towards our audience, and is there room for it in our cinema?
Social responsibility, I don't know. It depends on from the producer to producer. Like Rajkumar Hirani films will give you a social message,
of course,
and they will give you a social responsibility. But not every film does that.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. 90% of the films offer you entertainment. There is no social responsibility. There is no taking back home. There is nothing. It's just entertainment, and it's most of the films are made on the project. Like they make projects instead of making films. A lot of them are making projects. So I don't know what you want to take back home. Like there may be some bits and pieces. Again, it's all subjective. It's on an individual what he wants to take back from the film. But 90% of the times, what the films today offer you is entertainment, and which is not wrong. That's what people want to watch. As I said, the attention span of the people has gone max 30 seconds because of the reels and because of Instagram and Facebook. So they cannot, anything that is preachy, they cannot watch beyond some time. They said, nah, if you know about all this, we go. So the only thing that is assured and will make the audience stick is entertainment. Not everybody is Rajkumar Hirani who can hold your audience for 2.5 hours with a message also at the same time. So tell me the last film, at least you tell me the last film which you have watched which gave you, apart from Rajkumar Hirani film, which gave you some kind of message in the film. And if there is, then maybe you tell me the kind of message, whatever you watched last. I'm talking about maybe 10 years ago. I'm talking from the past 10 years.
No, this is beyond 10 years. Tare Zameen Par Aamir Khan film.
Yeah.
it gave me an insight into dyslexia people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
I,
that was it.
yeah.
Then there
Yeah.
was PK, which I thought was a great insight into how religion manipulates us.
Yeah.
There was Three Idiots, which was about the downfall of our educational system. And again, that's Rajkumar Hirani.
Yeah.
And I remember times, I mean, a lot of people share with me films from Korea and Iran or from Eastern Europe, for example, which are great cinemas. And the only few films that I have shared with them, which I know they could relate with and watch as a piece of cinema, have been things like Satya. Yeah. Done Satya. I've done Parinde with them. Okay. With the Vinod Chopra. So there's a handful of films. And there was a Mani Ratnam film from the South, and I don't speak Tamil, but I remember that film very, very clearly. It was about a young girl being adopted and then being told, I think, on one of her 8th or 9th birthday that she was adopted. And then she goes seeking her real mother, who was a Tamil terrorist working out of Sri Lanka. I mean, these were films that I could show people and say, it's great storytelling and it's a great story. It's a piece of cinema from India. Now, besides Satya, none of the other films were like what you refer to as art cinema. You know what I mean? These were commercial entertainment cinemas, and that's my hope. That's my hope, that while we have the song and dance and the stars, ruling the roost, I'd also like to see more of this kind of cinemas coming on, where I can clearly show somebody saying, hey, watch this from India. You know what I mean? And I know they won't be mocking the song and dance. I know they won't be bored by saying, what's new about this? You know what I mean? Right? I mean, we talked about this the other day. I mean, I watched Shah Rukh Khan's new film, Jawan. Cinematically, not innovative, nothing. Shah Rukh is just being Shah Rukh, and he's got this amazing charm, which I don't recall any other star having in India for the longest time, besides the young Amitabh Bachchan and maybe even a Rajesh Khanna, for example. Right? What I liked about the film was it showed that we are democratic. It was a voice. It was a voice that stood up to highlight some of the challenges that we have as a nation. Now, whether it was exaggerated or not, I'm not going to say that. But I wish that instead of pointing his finger at what was wrong in the country, I wish he also pointed his finger at saying how well we've done over the past decade, or so, right? So even though I said it's democratic, it's also not democratic because he didn't make an effort to do this. Cinema to me has to be either escapism or it has to give me something to ponder upon at the end of it. Right? And
yeah, true.
And that's what I like to see in cinema. But some of the stuff that I've seen on OTT recently have just been dark and disturbing and dark in terms of content and storytelling. And I didn't see the reason behind it. Besides,
like Indian cinema, you mean? Indian cinema?
Yeah, like Hindi cinema. Besides castrels ringing chiching, I didn't see what was the purpose of making these movies. And why do you think that's happening? I mean, we're a nation of 1.2 billion people. I'm sure we have ideas. We have amazing ideas. We have amazing folk stories to tell. They don't have to be dark and disturbing, where humanity or the audience of it is left gullible, feeling horrible, feeling, oh shit, we are part of this. You know what I mean? But if you look at it as, the other side of the coin is if you do a Rajkumar Hirani film, which is a relevant topic, but at the end of the day, you're laughing over the whole thing and you leave the cinema pondering on it. Why isn't that happening, Pranay?
No, so there is an audience for every kind of film. Like you're talking about Indian films, I'm talking about English movies, something like Antichrist. It's a dark film, dark in terms of, in every aspect it's dark. There's cannibal holocaust. It's a dark, gory kind of a film. Even so there are films made in Hollywood as well, and also they are appreciated.
But the majority of our films fall into that category. What you mentioned is like, the minority of films made abroad, but in our land, majority of the films are on this genre. Why is that?
So, as I said, we make films for entertainment, and the definition of entertainment can differ from a person to person. It's just individualist. Every individual has a different definition. So, what you talk about dark cinema, there are audience. See, these whoever the platform you're talking about, they're not stupid to buy just any film like that. They will only buy with what sells. They'll only buy which has audience to it. So there are audience. To be honest, you'll be surprised that there are audience for dark films who love watching dark films. I don't know the kind of mindset they have, but they love watching dark films. And there are the same audience will also watch hopeful cinema and entertaining cinema also. It's just that we as a country have so much of sadness in our lives. Diversity and sadness in our lives, like individually also, that we don't care about. The only, as you said, the only form of escapism is cinema. That's where I go and watch the hopeful film, and that's where I watch I feel Indian audience likes to watch something that they cannot ever do in their real life. So that is what they like to watch. So there is a different kind of cinema that is called a hopeful cinema and a joyful cinema, which Dharmas and Yashrajas make. We have audience for that also, but there are also the people they want to do and they cannot do is they make dark cinema, and there are watchers for that kind of dark cinema also. So cinema is just an escapist way of either showing joy or dark. And I think there is a audience for both. It is what for me, what ultimately matters is entertainment. If that film purely entertains you, whether action, comedy, drama, dark, happy, joy, it is a film at the end of the day. And I feel you should watch a film like a film. Don't. You have all the right to like or dislike the film, but just watch a film like the way the director wants you to watch the film. After that, you can decide whether you don't like it. Don't watch it like that. But then the only fact that you came to watch the film, that means you had some kind of inclination towards that kind of cinema, and that's why you came to watch the film. Maybe you if you're watching it on your OTT, and you switch it off halfway, that's fine. But you had some kind of inclination which you thought maybe it is beyond my expectation, I can't watch it anymore. That's what could have happened. But I feel there is audience for every kind of cinema, and the cinema has to be watched like a cinema and not like it's a dark film, it's a happy film, it's a joy film, it's a hopeful film. Maybe you are the audience who wants to watch a hopeful film, but I am not the kind of audience. I like to watch something that is maybe I cannot make, I don't want to make, or maybe that I cannot do in my real life. So something that intrigues me, whichever way, whether it is like me or whether it is something that something that I have never seen before. Either ways, I would want to ways. I will like it, I will dislike it for the entertainment factor, and not like it should give me hope. Not every film will give you hope. Not every film will give you a message. Not every film will give you make you feel happy at the end of the film. It is just purely for the sake of entertainment, and watch it with that perspective. That's it.
Look, it's been great talking to you, Pranay. I really hope that we can stay in touch.
Absolutely.
But I just want to end with now bringing the podcast back to you. So your film, Akeli, which means alone, has been released in the theaters recently. It's going to be on OTT sometime in the future as well, and I really look forward to that. What's next for a sensitive thinking director, filmmaker like yourself?
So I am working on two subjects right now. One is a thriller. The other one is a sports film. So I'm working on these two subjects right now. I'm writing them, with the co-writer. So these are the two subjects that I'm working on. Having said that, I want to make again I would want to make something that reaches more people. Having said that, I want to get a bigger star cast for both the films. That's how it will reach more people. That's my hope and ambition as a second film. But I'm working on two scripts which I feel will reach to the global audience as well, and to to the massy audience as well. So I want to make a little more massy subjects, at least for the next one, so that there is more room for me to showcase my talent as a director.
So as long as it's going to have a star cast, it's going to have song and dance, it's going to have bright colors, and it's going to have everything else that a Indian cinema needs to have. I think
no. Maybe it will have songs. I don't know about the dance part of it. It will have songs. It will have my kind of colors to it. It will not be like glossy and pinks and greens like that, but it will have my kinds of colors to it. And yes, it will be sensible at the end of the day. If you think Akeli is sensible, if you think my films are sensible, it will be a sensible film. Not that others make insensitive films, but it will be a sensible film. I see what I like is keeping it more real. Whether I make it, I cannot unnecessarily show things which is not needed or which will not probably practically happen in the real life. I cannot show that. My films are mostly, what I think is mostly, what can a character think when he's in this situation? Practically, what can happen? So it will be like this. It will be on a practical scenario. It will be more realistic. But I'll try to incorporate bigger stars and try to make it a little more bigger in terms of try to make it commercial. I mean, I'm still trying to figure out the idea of what commercial is and what how can I'm so that is what I'm gonna try now.
You know what's really sad is that in India, when we make films, we talk about casting stars and not actors, and it's not your fault, but that's just how the engine works in India. Let me ask you a last question, which I didn't think I was going to ask you, but I remember many years ago, an English friend of mine said, "Hey, Tagore, what's with all the song and dance? What's with all the music in these films?" He says, globally we have musical films and we know they're musicals, but in India, every film that comes out seems to have songs in it, generally. And I love it. I love watching, our palette of films and the songs and everything, being able to hum them after the movie's done. But why do you think that was part of our offerings?
I think what I think must have happened is the songs is the only way to express emotions in the film. Like in a shorter span, you can say this is how you're and after a point, it became like an identity. People started loving it. So when people start loving it, you make it more. And then you make it bigger and better. And so you will not imagine right now the amount of there are special budgets assigned for the songs in the film. Like, for example, my film is 50 crores, 60 crores. I will have another 20-25 crores only for the songs in the film.
Wow.
That's what, for the costumes, for the location, for the actors to look beautiful, everything that you do. But the songs are shot separately with a separate choreographer or a music video director or whatever. So they have a different budget because that is what is going to promote the film, and that is what is going to get the audience, India or abroad. So that has become like an identity now for us, for Indian films. So which I think earlier it must have started with the part of emotion, I think it's better way of expressing the emotion, but now it has become the identity and people are going ahead with it because it is working beautifully for us right now.
Pranay, thanks for making your time on a Sunday afternoon to talk to me.
Thank you so much.
Wishing you all the very best with whatever you do, and I can't wait to get a WhatsApp from you saying, "Hey Tagore, Akeli is on OTT platform XYZ," and
it will be soon.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll make a bit of hoo-ha about it. And I really look forward. And best of luck with your next ventures.
Thank you so much.
When I come to Bombay, I'll look you up.
Thank you so much, Tagore. It has been a pleasure talking to you, and would love to chat again whenever my next movie is about to release or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And even if not, okay.